There's always something going on in the royal household, and this week has been no different. And every Saturday I love to give you a rundown, and who better to do so than royal biographer Angela Levin. She's here in the studio. Angela, right, so there's a lot going on. Where do you want to start?
Well, I start really what I think is the most important. Lots of the papers today have got all about a book that Robert Hardman's written, who's an expert on royals, about the details of the Queen's last few days. And I think we always want to know that. We're still grieving her a bit, you know, if not unforgettable woman. And it was very interesting to hear that they thought that she was going over a week, but she then suddenly got very tired, and she went very peacefully in her sleep, which is actually something that's very nice. Meanwhile, now King Charles and Queen Camilla came and spent an hour with the Queen that same day, and then they went off thinking, well, maybe we've got a few more days. And unfortunately, then Prince Charles had to whiz over in a helicopter to be there, but he didn't actually quite get there before she actually died. But the aides had to talk to him, and he knew that his mother had died because they said, "Your Majesty," 2 words. They knew then he was now the king.
Oh, they called him the king.
And he wanted to speak to William as soon as possible, but he didn't want the people who deal with the phone to know what had happened before his son. So he said, for the first time ever, he said, "It's me." Who? You know, "It's me." I said, OK, and then put him through, because he didn't want to say he was Prince Charles or he was King Charles to meet them. So that was very touching. But the Queen had her red box there, inside with 2 letters, one for her private secretary and one for then Prince Charles. And she'd done all her work. She'd written a whole list of things that needed to be done. On the last day, or the day before her dying at 96, I mean, we still see the most extraordinary woman. And Robert, who is very careful about what he says, you know, shows Harry in a terrible way. That Harry wrote in Spare that his father was he didn't sort of think very much about him, and he was talking nonsense. This was the row about getting over here by plane. And he was saying, well, it was very easy, that he would just have to ring William's aides, and they would have told him exactly how to get here, instead of him screaming and making a big fuss about it all, and thinking that all his father had to worry about was getting Meghan there and sorting out his flight, when actually, when you're a mother like that, or any mother really dies, that's not your priority. And shows that it's all about me, 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 which we say very many times. But it's a very, very touching extract. And the book's out in a week. I don't know why I'm giving it publicity, because he's very good, and he's a very good writer. And I think all those details are very, very interesting about Her Majesty, about how she still kept going with her responsibilities right up to the end.
Yeah, sad though, because she must have been heartbroken to lose Philip, and you know.
Yes, I mean, we saw that she went downhill once he'd gone, because you know, he was everything to her, and a marvellous relationship. Yeah. And that's very sad. But William, I think one must show how he is keeping Diana's things going in a very kind way. I mean, because of Rob Burrows' not COVID, what is it? It's the...
Rob Burrows? Not Paul Burrows, no.
No, Rob Burrows... this terrible disease which finishes all your muscles and you can't move. Oh. And he went up to Leeds to give them CREs from him, all that way. Very kind, very gentle. And his friend there, who I'd seen run with him to raise money, carried him all this way so that he could go through.
And muscular dystrophy,
it was motor neuron disease, which is a terrible disease. Yeah, no one's found any way of helping at all. Terrible. And they've both raised millions towards it. And he went with his Rob went with his wife and his 2 girls, and they showed all the press how they've been practising their curtsies. Very sweet. They were so excited to see Prince Charles. And the point that Prince Charles said, which is the key one, is that what friendship is all about is helping each other and coming forward and doing things like that. And you have really done that. I'm so proud of you. I think you're just amazing. And you really want to cry, really. But this is Diana, the way with AIDS that she would sit beside people and wasn't frightened of people with difficult issues. It was very touching. And the last one, quickly, is Mike Tyndall and Zara, who have no inhibitions of showing how much they love each other. There's a thing where they come out of the sea for a swim in Australia, give each other a hug and a kiss, and it's very, very natural. And they have become really very close to William. And you see Maya, the oldest daughter, who is very friendly with Louis, who held her hand when they went to church at Christmas. And also with Charlotte, they were chatting all the time. And William hugs Mike. And I think they are a marvellous vision of him coming from an ordinary family into the royal family, fitting very nicely, and doesn't moan.
Wasn't that? And doesn't moan. You ended up with that one. And that's a very important thing, because they are very, very successful and very wealthy people. There's nothing to whinge about. Angela Levin, thank you so much. It's lovely to talk to you. That is royal biographer Angela Levin.